All right, so check it out. So I've been, I used to be a much more, how would I say this, like attentive to keeping my guitars strong. I don't really like dead strings. Actually, I don't like dead strings. I don't always necessarily like brand new ones either. I like them once they're broken in a little bit. And I've been playing long enough, I don't break strings a lot. You know what I mean? I'm pretty consistent. But I've been playing so much. I've been playing my Strat nonstop in the studio for months, right? And my Tele, I play a lot, and I play that at church. Well, like the last couple of days with those last couple of videos, like my Strat's just been like just dead, and I'm like, I bet the strings are just dead, And then I'm like looking at them. I'm strong anyway. So I restrung my Strat and my Tele, stretched them out, got it going on, tuned it, stretched it, tuned it, stretched it, tuned. And because the other thing too was the last couple of videos and the last couple of things that I've been recording, like I've like not totally been digging like my Matchless, but I've been playing it with my Strat, and I really haven't been digging. So I'm like, I don't know. I just needed I need fresh strings just to hear these things again. The good news is that we brought awesomeness. So the other thing too, I've been testing like going between the greenback, closed back 412 and the open back Matchless cabinet. It has like a combination, I think, of H-30s and vintage 30s. So a little bit of all that is here. And one other thing is, so I've got two 412s, one with all vintage 30s, one with the X pattern vintage 30s greenbacks, which now I'm only doing greenbacks. And I set that one up yesterday or day before yesterday the way I normally do, which is if I do two mics, I always do my 57 is always first, and the second one is always like a ribbon or an off axis or a condenser, but it's always 57 first. And they've been backwards because of just circumstance, and that's not like, my mind is not really a geared, like I am such a repetition kind of person. Protocol. My dad was, World War II Marine. Like I was in the military, like, SOP, man, standard operating procedures, by the numbers, because it's just how, protocol. Like that's just the way I am. So even in situations where I don't even necessarily need it, it's how I work. So I thought, let me fix this vintage 30 cab. Because I had the PR20 in the first, and then I had the 57 second. And the PR20 I was thinking is like the oddball mic, or the off axis or ribbon or whatever. So here was the original track. I did this morning. So the first track here is the PR20. Second track is 57. So here they are together. Channel 3 of the Mark V, and then I just flip-flopped them and did a little wiki, and here they are now with the 57 first and the PR20 second, which kind of makes more sense to my, to the Lugo brain. To me, I got that to sound better. So the original placement with the mics kind of, it's nice, it's warm, but it's got a murky thing. And now 57 first, PR. Yeah, and this came about while I'm driving my kids to school. I'm like, should I get another M160, another ribbon mic for this all vintage 30 straight cab? Which maybe not. I don't know. But it does sound better. So there's where we're at there. Now we go to what really was going down today, which was stringing my Strat and Tele. And it sounds so much better, man. So here's the Strat into channel 1 of the Matchless. C30, HC-30 ahead into its open back. That gives you an idea. That's kind of going through the different positions on the Strat. Now, same exact settings. I went into the greenback cab here. Same exact kind of going through the different pickups with the Strat, with fresh. Going to be people that like that, right? Because it's a little bit fatter. It's also, you can hear the compression of the closed cabinet. You're hearing like a ooh in the sound. To me, this is what I'm hearing, like a ooh to the sound, right? So listening to the closed back greenback cab. Ooh, now listen to the open back. You can hear it shooting out the back. You can hear it. It's yeah. So this is just my opinion. That sounds more like what I'm thinking. Like when I think kind of HC-30 deluxe reverby kind of thing, I'm hearing those. I'm not necessarily hearing this. Nice, and it obviously would be effective and great, and for certain things it would be great. It got a different thing. It's warmer, like less fangy, less something. I don't know, but yeah. So here again is the closed back cab, channel 1 on the Matchless, and now open back. Apples and oranges. So now we go to channel 2 with the Strat with the fresh strings. Open back cabinet, channel 2. And again, no pedals. All I've got on is the woodshed. I don't even have the EQ on. No overdrive. Just, this is it. And you'll hear them going through the pickups. Matchless, channel 2, open back cab. And now closed back. And back to open back. That's position 2. See, I like this. I like right here. The first one is bridge pickup, which is bright. I think the bridge pickup on the closed back is cooler. Here's the bridge pickup on the Strat, closed back cab. It's got more like more buoyancy. And now open back cabinet. And it sounds like an HC-30. Like to me that's like. To me, that sounds like Queen or something, right? So anyway, that was, first of all, so this experiment made me feel better about everything, because I was starting to think like, oh man, maybe my Strat's whack, maybe I'm crazy, maybe this Matchless is, maybe I should just get a rectifier and call it a day. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, that's actually what I was thinking. Then I was like, no, man, the strings have been on there for months, and you've been playing like, some days I'm playing like 4 hours a day. I mean, I'm hours working, right? Now, we're just doing the open back cab. This is the channel 1 with the Tele. So my Tele is I don't know what it's called. Is it an Ultra? It's like their one that has like the noiseless pickups. I think it's called an Elite. It used to be Ultra. It's Elite, whatever. But I pulled those. It's got Lawler vintage pickups in it. No noiseless. I'm always sus. I don't know. The noiseless always have like a thing that bothers my ear. So I've got regular Lawlers in there, and my Strat is an American Professional 2 stock. Both have locking tuners, and while I was stringing them, I was thinking, I'm like maybe one of the only people that hates vintage tuners. I hate vintage tuners. And people are like, oh, I like the look. I don't. That just, it doesn't even affect. I don't even see it. I just don't like stringing guitars with those damn tuners. And then I don't have to have locking. I can have regular Shalers or Grovers, but those vintage tuners. So I may be alone in this. And I thought, well, if I got a custom shop Strat, oh my God, then I'd be dealing with the tuners from hell, because I hate those tuners. And I'm old. I'm 60 years old. I've been playing guitar since I'm about 10 or 11. And for years, I was a guitar repairman. For years, I worked at a guitar shop, a number of guitar shops, big and small. When I was a kid from like 14 to 22, I worked at a music store. I lived in this dang music store. I mean, it was like home. And, so I don't have hang-ups about anything. And that was what came to my mind today when I was stringing them. I'm like, more times than not, I like new stuff, personally. I don't necessarily get hung up in vintage, and that, I'm not against it. But I don't know. And the other thing too is that in a weird way, when all the tracks are done and built out and mixed, no matter what I play, it still just sounds like me. So if I'm playing a custom shop 57 Les Paul, or I'm playing an Epiphone with Seymour Duncan's, it still sounds like me. It's not that big a deal. So anyway, but here's my American Elite Telecaster, and it's like got a flaky black color. It is very cool. It's got that weird electronics thing where it like dupes, it series them. I don't ever really use that. This is my beast for church too. Yeah, it's getting a couple of dings. That's good. It makes me feel good. Sometimes I don't like totally brand new guitars. But there it is. Locking tuners. Really nice guitar. Yeah. So Lawler vintage tees. Because I had a Nash at the studio that had Lawler specialties, and I liked them, but they were hot, and then sometimes I just wanted it to be more vintage tees. So there, in that sense, I liked it vintage, right? So this was a big surprise because I have not been using my Telecaster in here. That's my church guitar, but I was so surprised at how beautiful this thing sounded. So here's the Tele with fresh strings, kind of going through the pickups. Here's channel 1. These are all open back cab. So it's the Matchless. That's just money. And that's no EQ on, so there's no like top end shimmers or anything. That's just like, that is like utilitarian. Did anybody see, it was Smithsonian put it out. It was a documentary called The History of the Electric Guitar. And that E.G. who's the guitar player that looks like a boxer with the nose that was in... He was on Saturday Night Live, but he was really... I always knew him as the guy from Hall & Oates. E.G. something. Put it in the comments if you want. But he was like he was playing and the narrator of it. No, they had a narrator, but he was playing all the different eras. Oh, God, what was I talking about? I don't know. Oh, jeez. Somewhere there was a conversation. I can't remember now, but yeah. Anyway, if it comes back to my mind, I'll do it. Oh, channel 1 with the Tele. That's position 2 on the Tele. between the pickups. Now you come here to the Strat. I think the Strat starts in position 2, which is between the middle and bridge. You hear the difference? It's like a quackier phase because the pickups are closer together, right? Right, and then you go to the Telecaster. I think it starts here. Here it is. So here is position 2. This is position 2 on the Telecaster. Much more kind of normal, more like a Les Paul, because they're further apart. Stay on the I remember what I was going to say. So going to the beginning, it's so this movie, you got to get this. You got to see how to see this. I don't know where it is. It's by Smithsonian Institute. It's called The History of the Electric Guitar. It is. I had a DVR. I watched it for about 2 or 3 years. I probably watched it about 100 times, on and off. Every day, a couple of days, it was on. I love this, and it talks all about Rickenbacker and Les Paul and Leo Fender and how it all with Hawaiian guitar. I mean, it's very interesting, and it's not definitive because they can't tell. They don't know everything, and they don't know what's true and what's false. What's legend or whatever. But Gibson looked down at Leo Fender because Leo Fender was a appliance repair guy. I think he fixed refrigerators and toasters, right? And Les Gibson was elite. We real musicians. Like when I was in college, I majored in classical guitar, and my teacher was, that's it, classical music, and everything else they call pop, pop, whether it's metal or country or dance music or 50s or what, anything that's not classical is pop. Anything that is pop sucks. That's the way they look at it. So, yeah, and I'm like, what about Yngwie Malmsteen? He sucked too, right? So Gibson is on top. They're selling archtop guitars, acoustic guitars, and actually Les Paul goes to him with an idea for a solid body guitar, and they're like, no, this is lowbrow for them. So Leo makes the Nocaster, the first Telecaster with one pickup, but he does something. He starts doing advertising for it with so Gibson's advertising is guys in libraries with smoking jackets playing, whatever J45 or whatever, ding ding ding, playing, Wes Montgomery kind of music, and it's all this. Leo starts his ad campaign, and what he's got is his first campaign for these Nocasters is a picture of a guy with the Nocaster on, with a girl on his shoulders on a surfboard. They're surfing with this guitar. And they killed Gibson. They really hurt Gibson because this was the beginning of rock and roll, and all of a sudden Gibson was lame, and now this Nocaster was great, and then he ends up making a Telecaster, because they needed a better name, and he's like, the new thing was television, Telecaster. I mean, you got to watch this. If you're a guitar nerd like I am, this is great. The History of Electric Guitar by Smithsonian Institute. You will thank me. It's really a funny movie too. It's, G. Smith, that's his name. He's a funny dude, but then Gibson's like, uh-oh. the jerk, the idiot toaster repair guy is cutting into our market. So they put out the Gibson Les Paul. Now this is what they call premium. It had binding. It had two pick. Like it had a pickup selector. It had this. These are things we take. And it had an arch top. Right? It's not flat like a Telecaster's like flat. So now they're selling Les Pauls. Fender's selling Telecasters, and all of a sudden Gibson starts doing well. And Fender hires a promo guy, like an ad guy, promotion, sales, guy from, I think, California, that's a bigwig in that world, to come on board and to help them. So he comes on board and he's like, hey, so this Les Paul is like, has binding and it has all these nice accoutrements. And he said, the Telecaster is kind of, it's kind of lacks any flair. It's kind of just utilitarian. It's like a tool. And Leo goes, exactly. I mean, he knew exactly. He's like, that's what makes it great. And the guy's like, all right, well, we need another guitar. We need a guitar to compete with the Les Paul. And out comes the Stratocaster. And now it's got 3 pickups. It's got all kinds of molding. It's got a whammy bar, like, this is like whatever, 1950s, 5, 6, 7, whatever, it's like, this is high, And they put it out, and it's all over, I mean, once Hendrix played it, it was all over. And in a lot of ways, I think Gibson's been playing catch up ever since. I mean, obviously the Les Paul has Jimmy Page and Slash and all these play it. It's great, But the Strat just came in and just dropped the elbow. But then the country guys all do the Tele, so they all have their anyway. But that's what I think when I hear this, like, hey James, that guitar sounds is kind of a unintelligent and kind of caveman-esque, and I'm like, yes. Glad I did this. And now Telecaster position 1 in channel 2. But again, no pedals, just the woodshed, the Andy Wood little Sir Woodshed compressor. Which, might I add, if you guys, if you're looking for compressors, you should check this thing out. I mean, it may not be for everybody, but I had one of those Cali 76s. It was just too much for me. It was intrusive. It wasn't for me. Now, some people love it. Obviously, slide guys do the combo. They do the cascading one into the other, slide rig, or, like the two of them. But, yeah. Here's... That's just money. That's just absolute, like, rhythm guitar, pop rock, country. That's just money sounding. So here's the Strat in position 1. Brighter, more aggressive, right? A little more fangy. Strat, position 1. Tele, position 1. Warmer, more polite, a little fatter. Wow. So, anyway, I'm feeling good, man. I've had this massive to-do list, and I'm knocking stuff out, and I've sent out a lot of work to clients, and people are digging it. And boy, that feels good. It's like you want everybody to be happy, and you want people to, think you're cool. So it's nice, and we have these kind of jobs where, like, I think being a producer and a session guy and a mixer and all this, in certain ways, it is the most critically judged job in certain ways, because everybody you're working with, I wouldn't say everybody, but a majority of the people you're working with, the things you're doing for them mean everything to them. Like, absolutely, like their music is like their story. It's their whole lives. Like this, they want to be famous. They want to be on American Idol. Whatever it is their trip is, they want to change the world. They want to help people. Whatever it is passion. So making people happy with that it can be tricky, because it's taste, right? Like, I may think like, oh, well, I think it's better like this. If you don't want that, you want this, then we do that. But it's, yeah. I remember Michael Brower at one of the Mix to Masters says, yeah, it's about taste. He says your prayer should be that you have the kind of taste that most people like, because you can't just you can't go, you can't just make an excuse like, oh, well, I just got better taste or a different taste. It's like, well, all right, I get that. But it's service business. Like, we got to figure out how to make them happy and what they want, because it's their record. It's not my record. It's their record. So anyway, that was it. Man, listen to that crunchy little channel 2. Again, no gain pedals or EQ or anything. Telecaster, position 1. I just love that. All right. This cool video. I'm in a good headspace. I've been dealing with stuff with my kids, and I finally just snapped yesterday, and I took my youngest son's everything away. Unplugged all, his video games, took the remotes, all the joysticks, whatever, and I took his phone, man. And I told him, I said, this ain't coming back anytime soon, man. You better pray for a miracle if you don't start wanting to change, because I'm done. And I grew up, my dad was very intense. Very, very, very intense person. And I grew up in a little bit of always feeling and my dad was cool. And my dad was a good dude, and he's loving, though he was very intense. And sometimes just I don't know, you're always feeling here it comes, something's gonna go down, he'll snap. If he's watching from heaven, he knows I'm right. He used to say, only the good die young, son. Pricks like us go on forever. He had so many sayings. My dad was like, oh my God, he was so funny. He said so much funny stuff. I miss my parents so bad. If you got your parents, man, those are good times. Be nice to them. But so when I had my first son, I thought, oh, well, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to be the cool dad. I don't want the house to be uptight, and I'm just going to be cool. And then my second one comes along, and I'm still on this, I'm going to be cool. And then all of a sudden they start acting, out, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe my dad had a point. Maybe I don't know everything. Whoa, what a concept. Maybe I don't know everything. And it's been a journey of reeling this family back into and I'm doing good, it's intense though, man. Because my nature really is, I'm really a basically easygoing guy. I'm not, the house isn't some, balls to the wall war zone or anything. I'm not like that. It's just cool. I'm a cool dad. I'm fun. I take them everywhere. They get everything. Maybe they're a little spoiled, but we make good money. So, we go on vacations, and they get, basketball hoops, and they go, they do all these sports, and you know, they need whatever they need for marching band, for scouts. You know, it's there's so maybe the answer no is not as popular as it should be, but I don't want to take that away. Like I just got to get it where it needs to be. It's like coffee talk. It's like I'm dumping. Peace.